Another week, no haircut. We're still in the trap. What's going on, people? We are back for another week doing another music review. It's Friday, as you know, New Music Friday. And instead of going through loads, I'm going to start going through maybe one at a time. I think it maybe sits better with when we're going into reviews. I can be a little bit more in depth. At the same time, I'm not going to bore you guys for like 16, 15 minutes, like doing the most. So Top Boy Season 1 came out in 2011. I think I was at uni in my first year at the time. And I watched it. It was really, really good. It was something that we got to think about how in 2019 and for the last couple of years we've been blessed with how music has been, right? In 2011 we had rappers, we had Kano, we had Wretch, we had Gets, we had all these people. However, they weren't getting the same look-ins that Skepta has got in his kind of like second part of him blowing up, because he did initially have a blow up around 2010-11 with songs like Amnesia and stuff commercially in the chart. And then you got Stormzy as well, and there's other names, for example, H has been having a really good run. Young T and Bugsy have just got into the top 10. DBE just dropped a tune with Lil Baby. So we've seen a big rise of, like, you know, UK rappers and musicians doing well. But in 2011, it wasn't like that, and that was the landscape. Now, some of them had acted already. The Ashley Walters, aka Asher D, aka Dushane, who's in Top Boy, he was somebody who has had a acting career before with films like Bullet Boy, and he obviously he's been in this for a long time with So Solid Crew. So it's something that, you know, we had basically 2011 was just a different time. It's as simple as that. So when this show came about and we were all there kind of watching it at the time, now a lot of people who are probably watching and who are up for Top Boy now were really young when this came out. Like I said, I was probably about 17, 18. I think I was 18 when it came out. A lot of people might have been 10 or 11. So now they're the 18-year-olds now watching it. Now, it's one of those situations where it's become part of something that we were all proud of when it first dropped. When season 1 came out, we hadn't seen it before. We were like, okay, cool, this is amazing. And it did really well, and it got commissioned for another season. So season 2, I think, came out either 2012 or 2013. But then after that, it went quiet. And we had all these actors in it. I think Kano is obviously one of the main characters. I think he's Sully in it. You had Bashi was in it. Scorcher was in it. There was a lot of people that were in it that you were kind of like, oh yeah, this is sick. Like, this is what we want, right? And there was a scene, and this is what the scene wanted at the time in 2011. We wanted to see more. But then it went quiet. So after season 2, I think season 1 was definitely better than season 2. But at the same time, I feel like we wanted more, innit? As fans of UK hip-hop and UK music in general, we did want more. We did want more of it. We never got it. So it went quiet for a long time. There was rumours that it might come back. Again, it might be like 2014, 15 times. There was rumours that it might come. And eventually it went dead. Then Drake started to have this kind of connection with the UK that we've seen pretty much since about 2015, since, like, you know, Skepta came through with Konnichiwa, and that was 2016. But it was from the build-up of 2015 up, we got this rise of UK music and stuff, and we almost had it's like the new chapter of UK music and UK dominance, right? So this is what happened, and Top Boy has almost become like a cult figure of that, and Drake got on board and has created it because apparently he was a fan of it beforehand, and now he's come through, and we now have Top Boy Season 3, which is out today on Netflix, so make sure you go watch that. The soundtrack, my thoughts going into it were a bit like, okay, soundtracks to TV shows are never usually that great. Soundtracks to films are never usually that great. Sometimes you see them, you're just like, meh, okay, cool, whatever. It's never that deep. Do you know what I mean? But for Top Boy and all of what Top Boy is, I feel like they wanted to come through with a fire soundtrack, so they didn't let anything down. Because I haven't seen the series as of this recording right now, as I'm talking to you guys. I haven't watched it yet. I'm probably gonna watch it over the weekend, but I haven't watched it right now. All I've done is go off the soundtrack. Now let's break that down for a second. We have 17 singles, 17, and Drake, his behind bars that he did, I think it was either the end of 2017 into 2018, that is on there, but like a bonus bit. So that's one of the tracks we already kind of heard of, but because it was a bonus part, it kind of helped to make us want to listen to it again, because it was quite a surprise when he did link up with Link Up TV, no pun intended, to do that. So it was already like, okay, cool, this is a mad thing. What's he got? Another song that we've heard already is Baka and Gigs with My Town. So I'd already heard that before. I feel like that obviously Giggs is a very big instrumental part of the UK music scene and always has been since he kind of started to blow up around 2000. I think it was Big time, it was like 2008, 2009, maybe 2010, but 2008. I'll say 2008, right? But he's been a big part of that, so I don't think even if this song was on there, I expected gigs to be on there. Everything else I hadn't heard of. Even if it was already out, I hadn't heard it. One other thing to mention as well is that Nate Smalls was on it twice, and is on it twice. Dave and Nate Smalls are on it twice. And a lot of the artists that were on there, they're pretty much at the forefront of the new UK music scene and not so much the one that was in 2011. So we've got Heady One on there, we've got Fredo on there, we've got M Huncho, Avelino, and then we've got a mixture of like other people who have been around, who've been about. Do you know what I mean? So we've got Gets on there who comes through, and we'll talk about some of these songs in a little bit. I'm gonna kind of pluck out my personal highlights, but my expectations going into this, I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I was hoping for something good to work with, and maybe something I could take away from the series, because TV shows, once you watch them once, you probably aren't going to watch them again. Whereas music, you're here every single day, listening to the same songs. You're probably going to think to yourself, yeah, I want to see that. So let's break that down and let's get into it. What I like about the whole soundtrack as a whole is the fact that they add skits. Not in every single song, but in most songs, they have a skit at the end, probably taken from season 3. As I said, I haven't watched it as of this recording, but probably taken from season 3 that goes across. So it keeps it thematic. And I guess once you watch it, it's probably good to then go back and listen to the soundtrack. But another thing is, I feel like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I know it's completely different what I'm talking about, they incorporated the soundtrack, probably the best I've seen in a modern recent film. So I want to see how Top Boy do that with this album. But that's not what we're here for. We're just here to talk about the songs. So let's get into the first one. So as every single album comes through, we always have to think about how it's important to make sure that we know how it's going to start, the pacing. And Nate Smalls kicks this one off. It's called Riding on E. And I can't lie, I like the song. Most of these songs on the album, if I don't mention a song, by the way, it's just not I don't like it. It's just that it didn't catch my eye and it might catch yours. So yeah, if you feel like I missed something out, leave a comment down below. Anyway, Riding on E, Nate Smalls. That's something that I was looking for, something to be punchy, impactful to kick it off. It really does it. The hook mentions him saying, I'm a real top boy, I don't do it for the gram. So he's talking about he ain't flexing, man's really about that life. Shout out Nath. But it's one of them situations where I find that with these types of albums or soundtracks, right, it's important to make sure that it comes through nice and punchy. And Nate Smalls is a guy who is pretty much a man of the moment. Between D Block Europe, who I'm surprised aren't on this, because I thought D Block Europe would have had a good shout, Nate Smalls is up there as well with a person who can break into other scenes and do well. But he's also had a fantastic run in the last year and a half with Broken Homes with M Huncho and Gunner, who's obviously M Huncho's on the tape, and all his other songs, even Good Love, the album that came out earlier on this year, he's done well. So that song for me, it stood out. With Fredo now, Fredo was a different one. He's kind of just saying what Fredo says, to be honest. It's just one of them ones where he comes through, he talks about, him on the rise, on the come up, doing bits, and that's what we get away from it. So I'm not walking away from that one necessarily inspired or thinking, oh, that's sick, but I feel like it's a good way, it's keeping us in pace. And we got to remember that it's a soundtrack, it's not necessarily an album where you can really critique every single song, but as a song for itself, as a number 2 in the album soundtrack, it's calm. Now, number 3, I think, is where the track number 3 is where I actually get like, okay, cool. This is a song that I feel like I can hold on to for a while and listen to, even incorporating some of my mixes when I'm DJing. And I feel like it's Heady One, Hard to Believe. Heady One is off the back of Music and Road, which only came out about 2-3 weeks ago. Not even that long, right? And that was a very, very good album, to be fair. Very, very good album. This song, it could have easily been on that album. It's the first kind of drill sounding song that we get, and yeah, it comes through with just complete sounds. Really, I haven't really got that much to say to critique it. I'm just happy that we got a song like that on the project. It's not my favorite. I'll get into that in a little bit, but it is one of the ones that I feel like we will probably take away from it the most off this project. So automatically, the hook is talking about AJ and Dino. He's using London, AJ Dino, then he goes German, EO. Something like that, right? He does that a few times in the song. And it's just like one of them things where you can pick it up. He does mention a lot of people as well, and I think it's in his second verse. He mentions Poet, he mentions Krypton Conan, Georgia Smith. He even mentions Boa Morte, yeah, who's a football player. He used to play for Arsenal. Every single time I go to Arsenal testimonial, I see this dog. I'm like, I don't remember you ever playing for the club, but he probably played before I was a fan. and it's one of them ones there where he was there. I think he's like assistant manager at Everton now, so he's doing his thing. But shout out Berto Morte and shout out Heady One for using them in a nice way. Like, I think the poet reference was like, I'm on the corner poet, something like that. Yeah, and it's like, we get name drops all the time in rap in UK and US and whatever, but sometimes it's done well and other times it's a bit much. This time it's done well. Shout out Heady One, probably one of my favorite tracks right now off the project. So as I mentioned before, we heard Backer and My Town, so we don't need to mention that one. And M Huncho comes through with another nice song as well. M Huncho, obviously another person who's done very, very well, and he comes through, delivers a nice tune, and there's another skit at the end. So what I liked about it is that we got the song, we took it in from what the person said, but we just get the skits at the end just to remind us that, yo, this is not an album, this is a soundtrack to Top Boy. So I like that fact. Now, this is my favorite one. I'm about to get into it. Young's Teflon, Overseer. I swear down here, this song, for me, right now, listen to it. I listened to this album twice now. Best song on the project by far. Now, I'm not trying to say that the rest of the songs are dead. I'm not saying that. But this song by Young's Teflon is up there for me still. Now, he's talking about a bit like gentrification in his area. Let me make sure I said that. Gentrification. I feel like I mumbled that last one. So if I did, don't leave me alone. But it's one of those situations where he talks about a lot of the things that, like, come up. Gentrification, areas changing. Things like that, yeah. It's like, we know this. But in a time where Top Boy is going to be seen as like almost a window for a lot of people, even though it doesn't represent everyone's life, it represents a part of society, hence why Top Boy is made, hence why it's relatable for so many people. But when you get a soundtrack like this where the outside are going to be looking in, I feel like Overseer, besides Young Teflon being very consistent with the cold verses for a long time, I mean, yeah, if you listen to Young's Teflon, you get that. If not, go and listen to him because he's a very good artist. But one of those situations where Overseer, for me, I gotta say, is the top song on the album. Where I know I'm not gonna say top boy song on the album because that would sound dead. But top song of the album has got to be this one for me right now. The only thing I can say to counter that is that it should have been longer. I was enjoying it. You know when you get a good song, right, and it's too short, like, and you're like, oh, I have to replay that now. Sometimes I want to replay that. Sometimes I want one more verse. But that's me being picky, innit? But to be fair, that's it. I mean, Overseer was doing bits. So another track that we had was Dave and Professor X. Now, this is the first time we had Dave on the project. Obviously, Dave is actually starring in the series. Again, I need to see a bit more of his character and see the development that they add and put him in with it because, yeah, should be good. Obviously, he looks like I don't know, like Stratham's Terminator. He's got one eye one eye that looks like it's a completely different color, and it's like, yo, okay, cool. What's this about? You know what I mean? But obviously, Dave would be someone, I think Dave's 21, so he'd have been another person who in 2011 would have been like 13, 14 watching this. And that's what I'm saying. Like, what I liked about this series, or what I'm seeing from some of the stuff I've watched, when they did the red carpet and the premiere and stuff, is that you're getting different generations who watch Top Boy, and just in general, just kind of coming together to enjoy this. And like, I've already seen some reviews for the actual series itself, and it's been getting like 4 and 5s out of 5. So I know that it's going to be good. So that's the thing. So another song that we need to talk about as well is actually a song that's it's on a guy who has had a very smooth transition into another stage of his career, and that is Ghetts. So Ghetts has been someone who's been around for ages, a very, very long time. People look at Ghetts as like, not an older, but he's definitely somebody who's more wise in the scene because he's been there, he's done that, he's doing it, and he's still killing it. Do you know what I mean? Some people have been there and done that, but he's doing it. So that's the difference. That's the difference with what you gotta say. And he comes through with his track. He pretty much smashes it. The song's called Listen, and he talks about, thinking that grime really weren't gonna do anything major, and then it ended up doing something mad. Buying house, doing this, doing that, like the recognition that it's got. Whereas 10 years ago, I think he said 2007, so 2007 was 12 years ago, it weren't getting that. And that was apparent, because imagine if you're out there rapping, doing your thing in the grime scene 10, 15, about 15 years ago, we can say that now, you're not going to think that you're going to be able to buy a mansion off this. But the amount of millionaires, people that have come through, you got Wiley, he's been pretty hot this week for going to Ed Sheeran and Drake, but Wiley's there, Stormzy's there, Skepta's there. I'm sure you're pretty sure Ghetts isn't too far away. If not, he's a millionaire already. But, Lethal B. There's so many people that have made money, and they're all pretty much coming from the grime scene. So that was a nice kind of like, paying tribute, like homage or something, if you want to say, to like looking back at the past and saying, this is what I thought, but this is where we're at now. And Gets is probably the perfect person to do that. To be honest, I was expecting a few other names to be on certain tracks. I was expecting maybe Wretch to be there, or, you know, maybe even Kano to have a track. But again, at the same time, maybe because a lot of these guys are already in the show, maybe Wretch isn't in the show, but Kano is, maybe they don't need to be on both. So maybe that's me being picky again, but definitely another showcase of why Gets is pretty much one of the greatest rappers in the UK. Going from that as well, Avellino, who's been quiet. Well, he's 5 years ago, 4 years ago, when Young Fire Old Flame came out, people were like, you know, up there, me included as well, being like, come on, like, keep dropping songs because you're going to be one of the coldest. I still believe Avellino is one of the best rappers in the UK, like pen for pen, but we need more tunes, innit? We could get more from him. We just need to get more from Avellino in the next couple of weeks. We're getting towards the end of the year now. Maybe he drops something before the end, but Avellino's great rapper, great wordsmith. And I just feel like this was good to just refresh everyone and let everyone know, look, I'm still about, don't get it twisted. Do you know what I mean? So shout out to him as well for Belly of the Beast. So by that point, we've done quite a lot of the songs. You mentioned a lot of them. And there's another song by Nate Smalls on there called like 8 Missed Calls. That one's pretty cool. There's a few others on there that are worth checking out. And we kind of get to a close now. So going through this twice, obviously, it's only Friday. Top Boy came out. Well, am I recording this at like 3 p.m. on Friday? So Top Boy's been out for like 15 hours, maybe a little bit more than that, right? And the soundtrack has been out for about the same time. So a lot of the time, there might be other songs I might go back and listen to between now and then, but really and truly, I do like this, and I can't lie, I'm not going to give it a rating. I just came to talk about it with you guys, but at the same time, very good soundtrack. Now it's just down to the actual show. If the show bangs, and they incorporate this in nicely, and we just hear it. It might be one of them ones where they're playing it like in their cars or something like that, right? If they do that, then I can't complain, innit? Do you know what I mean? It's just nice to see the UK scene doing very, very well for themselves, and it's nice to see somebody come through, like, just create something that everyone's happy with, and everyone seems to be locked in. Lil Sims, I saw her talking about it, and she was just up for it and gassed and stuff like that. It's nice to see that. And Top Boy, it seems to have brought a few people together in the world where there's bare people beefing other people and stuff, which is just like, now is the time to kind of try and get together and just make great moments like Top Boy 3 happen. And hopefully it gets received well. And depending on how the story goes, because, you know, sometimes I don't know how the story, but everyone might lie in the story. I don't know, but maybe get Top Boy 4 in a couple of years time. I'm being impatient because it only came out Top Boy 3 today, but that's what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. If you agree with what I'm saying or you disagree with what I'm saying, leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe and press the bell for notifications so you know when I'm uploading every week, probably week. But that's it. And I will see you guys another time, maybe across the week or maybe next week for another music review. But yeah, Top Boy, I like it. That's it, man. We're done. I mean, switch off the video now, innit?